In the cold waters of the North Sea and the icy bays of Alaska, generations of fishermen have lived their lives chasing the tides, mastering the craft of capturing fish that feed nations. For the Dutch, trawling has been a lifeline for centuries. For Alaskans, purse seining has become the backbone of salmon harvests. These two very different methods reveal not only the skill of fishermen, but also the unbreakable connection between people and the sea. Trawl net fishing, also called trawling, is one of the oldest and most widespread methods of commercial fishing. The principle is simple. A large net is dragged through the water behind a boat to scoop up marine life. In practice, however, it requires precision knowledge of the sea and decades of experience. In the Netherlands, this method is not just about business. It is deeply tied to culture, identity, and survival. Coastal villages have lived by trawling for generations, passing down knowledge from fathers to sons, while families on shore prepare, sort, and process the catch. The North Sea, with its rich stocks of cod, plaice, sole, herring, and shrimp, has shaped the destiny of entire communities. Economically, Dutch trawling remains vital. Thousands of people depend on it, from fishermen who endure harsh seas to shipbuilders, gear makers, and workers in processing plants. Dutch seafood is known throughout Europe for its freshness and quality. Brown shrimp, plaice, sole, cod, and haddock fill markets in Germany, Belgium, France, and Spain. Exports bring millions into the national economy, reinforcing the importance of this centuries-old trade. But alongside prosperity comes uncertainty. Fish stocks fluctuate. Competition from fleets outside the European Union increases. Rising costs for fuel and maintenance squeeze profits. Global market changes consumer demand. And unpredictable currency rates mean fishermen face constant risk, yet still they return to the sea. Environmental responsibility has become central to Dutch fishing. The government, together with industry leaders, enforces strict regulations to protect fish stocks and marine ecosystems. Shrimp trawlers working in shallower coastal waters use smaller and lighter nets with fine mesh carefully designed to avoid catching juvenile fish or unwanted species. Twin rig and multi-rig systems increase efficiency while sorting machines on board separate shrimp from bycatch, saving time and improving product quality. For larger fish species, fishermen use different methods. Bottom trawling drags nets across the seabed to catch cod. And flatfish beam trawling spreads the net wide with a horizontal beam. And is especially effective for sole and midwater trawling. Suspends nets in the water column to target herring and mackerel without disturbing the seabed. Modern technology has transformed Dutch vessels. GPS tracking sonar and electronic monitoring systems allow fishermen to optimize their operations while ensuring compliance with sustainability laws. Yet despite these innovations, life at sea remains harsh. Fishing trips can last days or even weeks. Crews wake before dawn, prepare their gear, and face long hours in freezing conditions. Nets must be deployed and hauled fish sorted, and iced engines maintained and logs kept. The North Sea is unforgiving. Sudden storms bring towering waves. Icy winds test the strength of even the toughest sailors. Injuries, exhaustion, and seasickness are constant companions, but with hardship comes pride. Fishermen cherish the independence of their work, the bond with nature, and the traditions that tie them to their ancestors. Coastal communities also face social challenges. The fishing population is aging. Younger generations are reluctant to continue such demanding, uncertain work. Many villages see their youth leave for other careers, leaving fewer hands to carry on the trade. To counter this, programs and apprenticeships are being developed to encourage young people to view fishing as a viable career. Women play a crucial but often unseen role. On shore, they dominate processing plants where they sort, prepare, and package fish to meet international standards. Many also handle the financial and administrative side of family operations, ensuring stability for their households. Others take part in cooperatives and associations where they advocate for fishermen's rights and community welfare. While Dutch trawlers sweep the North Sea across the ocean, another tradition thrives: purse seining for salmon in Alaska. Here the target is not shrimp or flatfish. But the great schools of wild Pacific salmon that return from the ocean each summer to spawn. This migration, a timeless cycle of life, has created one of the most celebrated fisheries in the world. Purse seining is a remarkably efficient method tailored for salmon behavior. As salmon gather in coastal bays and fjords, before entering freshwater rivers, vessels encircle them with immense nets. sometimes stretching hundreds of meters in length and up to 50 meters deep. Floats hold the net at the surface, while weights pull the bottom edge down. Along this lower edge run rings threaded with a thick rope called the purse line. Once the school is surrounded, the crew pulls the rope tight, closing the bottom like the drawstring of a bag, trapping the fish inside. The vessels used for this work are highly specialized. Purse seiners are larger than many other fishing boats, with wide open decks and powerful hydraulic winches to haul the heavy nets. Sonar and fish-finding technology guide the captain to schools below. In tight bays, smaller pocket seiners maneuver nimbly, while in open waters, larger ships haul immense nets capable of encircling massive schools in one sweep. When the net is closed, salmon are either pumped aboard with suction systems or hauled in manually. Crews work fast to sort by species and size before storing the fish on ice in refrigerated holds, preserving them for processing. 5 Pacific salmon species dominate Alaskan waters: pink chum coho sockeye and chinook. Pink salmon are the most abundant, often canned in large quantities. Chum salmon are prized for their roe. a delicacy in global markets. Coho or silver salmon are valued for their delicate flavor and sold fresh or frozen. Sockeye are rich and fatty, among the most sought after for premium fillets. Chinook, or king salmon, the largest and most revered, are less often caught in purse seines since they swim deeper, but when they are landed, they command the highest prices. Fishing seasons are carefully managed. Runs vary by species and location, generally spanning from late spring to early autumn. Timing is critical. Salmon must be harvested just before they enter freshwater rivers, ensuring the best quality meat, while still allowing enough to spawn and sustain the population. Alaska enforces some of the strictest fisheries management systems in the world. Escape panels and bycatch reduction devices are built into nets, allowing non-target species to escape. Seasonal closures catch limits, and marine protected areas all safeguard future stocks. Unlike many regions where overfishing has devastated populations, Alaska is celebrated as a model of sustainability. For Alaskan communities, purse seining is not just commerce, but culture. Fishing towns along the coast depend on these seasonal harvests. Crews spend long hours hauling nets under the midnight sun. Where time itself feels suspended, it is grueling work. Yet it binds families and neighbors together. Like their Dutch counterparts, Alaskan fishermen face the same balance, harvesting enough to survive. while protecting the very resource that sustains them. In both worlds, whether dragging nets across the North Sea or closing a purse seine in Alaskan fjords, one truth remains constant: fishing is more than an economic activity. It is identity. It is heritage. It is the unbroken link between humans and the ocean. Modern machinery, satellites, and freezing technology may improve efficiency, but what truly keeps these industries alive is the spirit of the fishermen themselves, their endurance, their solidarity, and their respect for the sea. And so the cycle continues. As seasons change, nets are repaired, engines oiled, and vessels prepared for the next voyage. The Dutch trawler heads into the gray swells of the North Sea. The Alaskan seiner circles in the blue bays of the Pacific. Each cast of the net is another chapter in the endless story of people and the ocean, a story of risk and reward. Of hardship and hope of survival and legacy. The sea gives and the sea tests, but for those who have salt in their veins, it is the only life worth living.